first we'll introduce you to the tomatoes. Anybody having a good experience with tomatoes in Florida? What about you?
Yeah, they're doing all right.
All right, well, good. Yeah, tomatoes in Florida is a challenge, but we have going from the easiest to the hardest as far as easy to grow. The number one I would recommend is one called Florida Everglades. So it's the one that has the little, it's a cherry tomato. It's got small, that's the only tomato that I know of that is Florida native. And we had last year we had some that were growing by themselves in the greenhouse. And the one plant was probably 20 feet wide and 20 feet long. So the planting time, the sun exposure, tomatoes like sun, as much sun as possible. So if you grow the Everglades, for example, and you wanted to have some all through the summer, it would help to have it in a little bit of a shaded area. The key to plant tomatoes is to plant them deeper than they are. So for example, this one, there's two plants here, but let's get one with one plant. When you buy a tomato plant, what you do is you remove the bottom leaves, and then you're gonna plant your plants about 4 inches deep. Because what happens is you see all those hair here, little hair. Mm-hmm. When you plant them deeper, you'll have small roots coming out of the base of your plant within days. So the deeper you plant them, the more feeder roots you will create. So the plant will be more stable and will have more roots. The other thing we do when we plant is as we plant, we'll put about a handful of that fertilizer in the hole around the roots. This way the fertilizer will feed the plants right where they are. The other thing you do as you plant, you water really well. Before you plant, you don't want to plant a dry plant, and that's good for any plant really. Always have your plants moist. And then once you're done planting, you're gonna water around the plants to keep that soil moist. And I would stake them right away. So ideally you want to use like a metal tomato cage. So you put your cage just after you plant your tomato. Or sometimes those tomato cages are a little bit small. So what some people do is they'll use like rebar or those metal stakes, put like 3 or 4 at about like 2 feet or 3 feet around, and then put a wire like some kind of a chicken wire or like a fencing wire with those big square holes. So you create a really big tomato cage. So you can still have your hands going through the sides to harvest the fruits, and it will contain your plant within that cage. So you don't really have to do any tying up or staking up. Everything stays inside that cage. At the base of each leaf, little plantlets will come out that are called suckers. So in order to have as many fruits as possible and as big as possible, you want to reduce the foliage. So as those suckers come out, we recommend to remove them. Or what you could do is you could let 2 suckers come out and remove the top of your plant. So you could either grow your plant as a single plant, single stem with the fruits on the top, or 2 stems and then remove the top of your main plant. Well, thanks for coming.